G'day folks. Well, I'm started to tackle these back arms. Now I'm going to show you a little drawing that I did to just give you a heads up on the problems that I'm having or experiencing with the diff nosing down. Now what's happening is, on this, it's called a triangulated forelink. Now on the bottom arm we've got a nice long bottom arm with a slight bit of rake still, but on the top arm it's about half the length, okay, and it's on a terrible angle downwards because I've got an aftermarket diff, right, which is a 9-inch, so they're physically bigger, and it's lifted up the height of the mounting point for the top arm of the back on top here, and being the car's lowered, it's just it's accelerated everything, it's just exaggerated everything, sorry, and it's made this top arm on a horrible angle. So every time the suspension moves up and down, the diff noses down when the car drops down because it's run out of angle. And even sitting there now, the diff is actually nosed down. I'd have to raise the car back up about 2 inches to get it nice and level again. We'll get the same angle at each end. And that's what's happening. See here? That's the level line. This is just an example. A level line off the diff, which is slightly nosing down, and the engine gearbox is on a slight rake down. And so we've got two crooked angles either side. So we've got a different angle at each end, and we can't cancel out each other nice and smooth. So we're getting this horrible whoop, 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 whoop. Especially when I've got a full load of fuel on, and once I get off the power a little bit, it's not so bad when I'm on the power because I reckon the diff sort of gets pulled up, but when you sort of trim around the sweeper and you back off, the diff drops down and you get this horrible vibration. So I'm going to fix it once and for all. So what it calls for, guys, is lifting the top arm up, and that's the only way to fix it. And I'm going to make it adjustable so you can it's going to have a thread on it so you can increase the length or decrease the length to adjust your diff. And if I can get this sort of back up fairly parallel or fairly straight again, level, every time the car goes up and down, the diff won't. The diff will just travel up and down as well. We'll keep in the same plane as the front, so I can dial it all in and it'll be nice and sweet. So you need the same angle at each end, and I think there's a maximum of around 5 degrees you can have with a tail shaft. Any more than that and I think you can experience vibration, sort of maxes the joint out, the angle. We'll probably only really, if I do nose that back up straight, will only be a couple of degrees, 1.5 to 2 degrees. So, and that's what it calls for, because you need to, they need to rotate at the same speed at each end, and if they don't do that, you create all sorts of issues and problems. So yeah, well, I'll show you what I'm doing. I've cut the back of the car up, but I don't feel so bad now, guys. When I was doing it, I was cringing, but this is what it takes. I mean, I could leave it, and I just wouldn't enjoy the experience, and I'll end up destroying my gearbox and my diff and tail shaft failing, and I don't want that. I want the confidence to be able to really power down around them straights. So yeah, review up in there, guys. Get in there with a torch. There we go. There's the top of the diff. They're a huge diff, these 9 inches. They've got a massive, like a body on them. The Salisbury was, I think they were about 20 or 30 mil higher than the Salisbury diff. I'd have to lift this car, I reckon, at least 2 inches back up to get it sort of solved the problem. So yeah, and that's the mounting point down in there. So it's going to turn out now, I reckon, the mounting point will be about here somewhere. So I'll be in this sort of structural part of the, I don't know what you'd call it, the cross member, rear cross member part. Yeah, so if I can sort of cut out a bit and fabricate up a bracketry setup, I'm not going to do any adjustable holes up and down. I just want it for length, so I can, you know, shorten it up or increase the length to adjust the diff. But if I can get it sort of straight again, we'll be well on the way to solving the issues and keeping the diff nice and happy and nice in sync with the front of the gearbox. Now, if any of you guys have got some ideas for a top control arm, I really need to keep this part of it, but maybe cutting it off, boxing it, because it's got a twist, remember. These things have to twist as the car articulates. It needs to twist. So, but I was thinking maybe cut it off here, get some really high quality tube, chrome moly tube, and with some threads sort of cut into them or some design, and maybe run a rose joint up this end so it can allow for twisting. It's a bit like my panhard rod. You can sort of twist them. That's the beauty of the... So if I make this sort of part fairly solid with the adjustability for length, then run a Jaime joint up this end. But yeah, just throw some ideas my way, guys. I'm sort of just thinking at the minute, and I haven't sort of come across a final decision, but it all helps. But yes, I'm really keen to do it now, guys. So fix this thing once and for all, and yeah, we'll be well on the way again. And then I'll get a box made up, sort of an aluminum box cover, just to hide the cutouts once I do it, and then I can sort of easily service it and adjust it if I need to for whatever reason. But I think once it's dialed in, I should never have to touch it again, guys. Wouldn't matter what sort of payload I'm carrying in, fuel or whatever, it shouldn't upset the front of the diff. The car's sitting fairly level too, guys, so check this out. You might even see it in the camera. I'm not sure. No, it's not going to really show you, but I can actually tell the diff's nosing down. But I've got a measurement. I've taken a measurement off the floor to the diff, and I reckon it's going to have to go up at least 15 mil to get it back in sync with the gearbox. I've got a gravity dial gauge, so it's running. Oh, geez, it's running out. I reckon, if you ask me, it's probably running out about 3, maybe 4 degrees. So, yeah, we'll fix him. All right, folks. Well, it's a little update now. I'll put another one up as soon as I advance forward on it. And yes, if you can just sort of help me out on a few ideas for a top control arm, it'd be fantastic. All right, guys. Catch you later.